Hi, my name is Saning'o Ole Kissmirr, a last journalist. I'm from Meto. I'm 34 years old. I'm married. I'm a father of one. I'm from Meto, Kajiado Central constituency, Namanga division. I hold a diploma in mass communication from Nairobi Aviation College 2011 to 2013. I did also film. I specialize in TV and radio production. I also did film production in medieval media development in Africa the same year. And I love my job. I'm a content producer for now. I am a cameraman, photographer. I develop content. And when I say content, it's all about, it will depend with the media platform. If it's for print, for radio, for TV, something like that. Well, I research, analyze, and film. My work entails waking up in the morning, 5, I pray, I taking a shower, take breakfast, then natoka asubuhi, naenda kazi. I report to my workplace, so depending maybe 7, ndio naanza safari. What I mean by developing content is all about how you interact with people, the way you talk to people, the stories that people feeds in you, the people you meet on the way, and it's fun. It's actually fun. I love traveling, adventure, and interact with so many people. My journey to the industry came some years ago when I was young. I didn't know anything about what journalism is. I remember there was a time my mom, when I was in primary, my brother told me, what do you want to be? I told him nataka kuwa mwalimu, because that was the only existing professionals around me. So my elder brother, he is an international figure. He is a journalist as well. He has been traveling across the world. That's the guy who inspired me. So when I went to high school, I developed. There was these people. In Masaini we have 2 people. We have Mama, the eloquent, the Maasai icon, and we have Saitoti. Those people are in government, and it's funny. Those are the only people, journalists in Maasai land. Those are the only newsmakers. So anytime you tune into your radio, either vernacular or national radio, TV, is all about Saitoti Ndimama. So it reached a point nikajiuliza, so how about the common mwananchi? How about their voice? So I kept with that mind until one day I happened to visit my brother who was in Westlands. He used to work with World Vision. So nikamuuliza, by the way, mbona Kajiado ama Masaini there are never stories beyond Saitoti Ndimama? He told me, why are you asking such a question? I'm just curious to know. So So he told me, you know what, nikikuambia, will you take an action? I told him yes. That's why I asked. Kaniambia, you know what, there are no journalists to go beyond say Twetendi Mama. So that's how things are. Stories, news. So I asked him, what is news? He told me news. News is about nearness. Is about ownership. So when you have someone who can tell a story about his own place or her own place, he gets connected. The people feel they are being recognized. So I say, oh yes, so that's the thing. So that is the passion it can generate. I was in Sky High School. I was in Ole High School. That's why I did my high school level or level high school, the primary certificate. Sorry, the secondary O-level certificate. Now, I was in the journalism club. I was passionate about kusoma taarifa kwa nini, kwa parade, writing articles. In fact, I write articles. Siku hizi nimetulia. I used to write articles. The students used to tell me, kwani ulikuwaga shule ulikuwaga college kabla? It's just passion. So now, after coming to college, I came to college. I met this man called Mr. Ndirango. Mr. Ndirango is our HOD. He's a very nice guy. That was 2011. I think the second semester. So it happened one day. There was an issue in my village. There was a political impeachment of a local chief. So someone called me, niaje kwani kuna kitu itakuwa, we are demonstrating about this person, so kindly tafutie watu wa media. So I called this guy. I called Stephen Mkangai who worked at KTN by KTN. Mkangai working KTN is my friend. He's my college mate. Alikuwa KIMSI tukiwa aviation. Nikamwambia Mkangai niaje, tunaweza pata to press. There's a story huko Kajiado. He akanitumia story ya correspondent wao. Jamaa anaitwa Kinyanjui. So I call Kinyanjui, niaje, mimi naitwa Kissmirr, kuna story huko Kajiado. So nilikuwa naomba you do for them. You know what he told me? Aliniambia watalipa. So I just nikajiuliza swali. What do you mean kulipa? Kwani taarifa unalipa? Kasema no, if they don't have money, mimi siwezi enda. So it happened. I used to have a small camera, the Kodak. Those are the first cameras kuwa na card. So I borrowed 500 from a friend. Nikamwambia wacha niende. So I went there. Nikaenda huko. So funny enough, I went there. Watu wa press wote wa correspondent wote wa Kajiado, they were blocked. Waliambiwa no coverage. So I went there with my small camera. Tukakaa nao. I told them tifike saa 7 ndio twende. I tried to call a lady in Citizen who's a correspondent. Akasema okay, I'm coming. Wajama kaenda, they stormed the county office. They were saying some funny things. So I captured the whole footage. Then later on, after waliongea county commission nikamhoji, and so after all, that's why I met my dad. He was there. Akaniambia umeanza kazi, so this is what you do here. He told me, now do this. Stand firm like a man. I believe in you. Don't worry. In case of facilitation, I'll play that role until you become a man. So he gave me like 4K. I went. So see, the Citizen lady came. Compare for I was just a student. I was so desperate where to put the story. Akaniambia sasa hii footage Citizen hawatachukua. Nikamwambia sawa, mimi nikaenda, I wrote the story, nikatuma County Press. Then nikaenda it was an evening, nikalala asubuhi. Someone in my village again called, niaje nikuulize ile story ya tutaona mahali. I felt kaona pana, let me show myself. I went to Nation, waambia niko na story. And by the time ukienda hizi mainstream media, they wanakuangalia uko chini. So I went there, wakanipokea. That's why I met Pamela Sigi, one of the editors in TV. Kaangalia story kasema we don't take cuts. So I had to insist, because Ndirango told me stand firm. That's how the crazy world in the industry watakutukana, but stand firm. So akapeana, it was previewed, ikaambiwa by 11 itakuwa headline. In fact by 11 it turned the headline, the story of the day. Saa 5, saa 6, saa 7 ikawa prime time. So that's how I got the whole hope that this thing is possible. So after nikaendelea, then 2012 I joined the medieval training. Then after joining the medieval training, they trained me for 6 months about TV film. Then April 2013, I signed the first contract. That's where we met with Kina Rebecca Mwiruri, the Kina Lofty Matambo. So we did the first story. I did several stories, but the story that touched me were 2 to 3 stories. One is I did a story about the Kajiado County water crisis, featuring iconic IC girls. It touched the whole world. The county government came in. Later on, they got about the watoto wakapewa maji. The other thing is, I also did a story about fistula. Fistula was about, I wanted to know this thing called FGM, whether it's real. But after doing all the research, fistula is not the cause of it. I didn't get that. Though the story won an award, but I didn't get what I wanted. But now I did another story about Birikani, HIV and donors fatigue. I wanted to find ways to revive that. I wanted to know the truth, what happened. I wanted to know the truth about what happened to this big facility and how to do it. It was a multi-billion project. So the government was unable to do it. I intervened the county government. They were so now wako na KMTC hapo. So after now joining Medeva, that's how now I became like, my brother wanted me to be a TV reporter, but I was a camera shy. It took me time until I came to discover, so this me, mine is camera work, photography, producing content, developing content. That's where Bonikati told me, my lecturer, Medeva, that be yourself. So the same year, that was 2013, November, I won my first award with Rebecca Mwiruri, the best TV cameraman of the year, UNFPA. Then again, 2014, we signed the contract. We did the story. I won another award. That's now where I won the Mbirikani story. The Mbirikani story won the award 2015, but the Fistula story won 2013. So after that, I went to county government. That's why I was contracted for 3 years as an information officer. And I went there. The world is different because, you try to be I try to be a professional, but politics took its way. Like you are not supposed to do this. But for me, I'm also a political analyst, so I went there. I had to do research after discovering all these things. There are things I learned there. How government does its operation, the do's and don'ts of politicians. I also had a project, so I got the opportunity to do. Now, uh, around 2013, as I walk, in the media industry, I learned so many things. Like you're a public figure, people believe in you. So it reached a point. It reached a point. I wanted to go beyond just journalism, and in 2013, that's why I developed like I need to do something. So I had to do research. What do I want? What is needed? Like Vision 2030, because 2013 the Uhuru Ruto came in. They had the agenda for the Big Four. Then I also came with the Big Four for pastoralists. Though when you are young, kuna vitu huwezi jua, like how do about this. So when I joined the county government, I came like, there are places people are suffering. There's demand that I saw the need of having new journalists in the industry. And just to revise back, to take you back, after winning the award, one of my CEO, Mr. Jason Nyandino, asked me if we can train more journalists in Kajiado County. Yes, we got 30 people, but it seems that was a 10 million grant we met the governor, tuliongea naye, but it seemed the Ministry of ICT were never interested because they thought I was coming to take over. So that didn't work, but then I had to do my own plans. Joining the county government, I had to do more research. Like now, it's not about journalism. I have to think out of the box. What I did, I had to train the young journalists, the interns. Once akikuja intern hapo, I train him camera work, how to develop stories, how to go beyond just covering political stories. And I'm happy now we have some people who can tell stories, which is good. So we did there. I stayed there for 2 to 3 years. Then I pulled out there around 2016. The contract ended. And now during the 2015, when I was in government, working in county government, I was able to know how the government does operation. So that's how I was able to frame my vision for 2030 about pastoralist. So now my next plan or my next move is I have a plan to I'm setting up, already have an NGO, European Pastoral Foundation. It cuts across 10 counties. Pastoralist is more polytechnics, youth and women empowerment. Even so far, I have drafted an official letter to the president requesting for funding to make us go to be online, the same line with the Vision 2030 like the rest of Kenyans. So that's my plan. I also still develop content for TV. Yeah. Currently I work with BBN TV. I'm a content developer. I develop stories and I have a nice team. And my next move is the foundation I'm also joining politics, and the reason I'm joining politics is because I'm joining the Kajiado Central Parliamentary seat. It's not easy, but I have to try because I'm just thinking Vision 2030, like, what is it? How will it be? Like, say we are 2021, 2022, and 2022 determines plans for Vision 2030, especially for the 40 years and below. So if I don't rescue these people, they'll perish. So I have a letter addressing the president. Now I'm already in talks with senior people who have that link. That's where the whole thing begins. That's where the whole dream about me begins. Uh, so that is me. I'm also working on some future stories. That's me. And the challenges about in the industry, it's full of challenges because one, people when they see on camera they reveal the inside stories. The challenges is that when you're in the industry, people talk, they reveal the inside stories, and sometimes they used to think I'm close to the governor, I'm close to the MP, so they give pressure. They say tutafutie hii, nataka basari mtoto wako ako na hiyo. So those are the challenges that made me to think out of the box. Apart from just being a journalist, taking photos, what else can I do? That's how I came up with the organization. Something else. There's this perspective that when you take a photo unawauzia wazungu. So hata sahi wanauliza tu hizi picha unaendaka kubenefit mwenyewe. But for me, I know what I'm doing. So even coming up with a project, it's one of the ways to let them know that what I'm doing is I'm doing it for the sake of them. So those are the challenges. Inspiring young journalists have inspired. At least they're moving on. And that's how life is. For those aspiring young journalists or any aspiring person who want to be a better tomorrow, who want to be a better person tomorrow, just be yourself. It doesn't matter. What matters is passion. For those who are in high school, get a good grade, be passionate about it. Then something else about for those who are in school, make sure that you frame you plan yourself, subject combination, then passion. But passion without performance is not. It will might bring you a challenge. Again, after high school, there's one thing you should know. Life changes, and what I mean by life changes, it doesn't matter whether you got a B plus, an A, what. Life changes because after high school, one, parents will not be there, so you have to survive your own way. Maybe for those who are not well in financially, sometimes life changes. Mzazi anakuambia sasa jipange, but doesn't mean it's the end of the world. So that is me, and I really wish, I'm always willing, and whoever who think he want to be somebody, it doesn't matter wherever you are. I'm always available because I know mahali nimetoka, it's someone, my parents, my family, and I really appreciate I have three people who really made me whom I am. My brother John, I have Linus Kaikai. Those are the people who I've seen like they are role models in my community, because they have shined, and I'm sure in the next maybe they'll be moving to something else. So for us young people, Let's be patient. Let's praise everything. So that's me. That's me.